Hey everyone, it's Crafty Crochet Lady, and I'm going to show you guys how to make a sunburst granny square like this one here. Now, it kind of looks complicated, but it's really not. It's very simple. You just start with some double crochet stitches in the middle, and then we've got our puff stitches and clusters, and then we do our granny square double crochets and triple crochets with some half doubles in there just to make the square shape around the edge. And these are really great just for, you can use them on anything, blankets, scarves, making a tote bag, that's another popular one to use these for. So they're very versatile, you can do anything with them you want. Alright. So the first thing we're going to do is start with the middle, and I'm going to be using Hobby Lobby's I Love This Yarn, and I'm using it in the color Desert Glaze. I believe it's called Desert Glaze. So the first thing that we want to do is make sure we have the right hook. This uses an eye-sized hook, which is a 5.5, or this one's a 5.25. Since it's not clothing, I don't really think the gauge matters much. But if you're following a pattern like for clothing or something that you want to be a certain size, then, you know, make sure that you have the right hook size and everything. So we're gonna start this one with the magic ring, and the way I do it is I put the yarn, I hold the yarn like this with the tail inside my hand, and I make an X shape around my fingers like that. Then I take my hook and go under the first one and grab that other one, pull it out and twist. Then I take my fingers out of the hole of the center there, and I pull a slip stitch through, and that is our magic circle or a magic ring. So the first thing we're going to do is chain 3, and we will be doing 15 double crochets into the center of this ring. So I will make my 15 doubles and come back. Alright, so I am back here with my 15 double crochets, and so we want to pull our magic ring closed, so you just tug on the chain, or tug on the tail of your circle and pull it tight. And we are going to join on the slip with a slip stitch at the top of our chain 3. So that will give us a total of 16. Alright, so since we're done with our center, we can cut that off. And make sure that you work away the tail or crochet over it, so that way it stays secure. And the next one we will do is our puff stitch. So for our puff stitch, I'm using Karen's Simply Soft in the color red, and I'm just going to make a slip knot, and you can join in any one of these stitches. So we're going to chain 2, And now we're going to start our puff stitches. So a puff stitch in this pattern is 7 loops on the hook. So you want to make sure that you have your 7 loops on your hook when you make a puff stitch. So we'll go over the hook into that same stitch, pull up, over and into the stitch and pull up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 right now. So we need one more time, over and pull up. Now we have 7 loops. So we're going to pull that yarn through those 7. And that is a puff stitch. And we will close that off with a chain 1. And then do a chain 1 and work on the next one. So it is around the hook, go into that stitch, pull a loop through, around and pull through, and around and pull through. So you go around the hook and pull through a total of 3 times for these puff stitches. And then we chain 1 to close it and chain 1 to go to the next spot. Alright, so we will do another puff stitch together so you get used to how it's done. So we'll go over around our hook into the stitch and pull up a loop around the hook, through and pull up a loop, and around and through and pull up a loop again. Then we'll go around and pull that last string, that last piece of yarn through, and now you have another puff stitch. And we close off with our chain 1 and do a chain 1 to separate them. So I will just continue doing the puff stitches around and I will meet you back here. Alright, I just finished my last puff stitch and I am going to join it to the first one right here with a slip stitch. And now we will cut off this yarn and go to the next one, which will be our clusters. So that will be pretty easy to do. You're really just making some double crochets and keeping them together. Instead of making a puff, you make a cluster. So let's see, let me get my yarn for that. Alright, so for the clusters, I am going to use Hobby Lobby's I Love This Yarn in the color Jelly Bean. So what we do is we will make our slips. We will make our slip knot and we will join with a slip stitch into any of the puff chain 1 spaces. So these spaces right here. Now we will chain 2 and go yarn over, pull up a loop, and this time we're only going to go through the first 2 loops on the hook. So we will do that 2 more times, over and through, pull through the next 2, and over and through the next 2. So you will have 4 loops on your hook, and then just go over and pull through all 4. And that is our first cluster. And we'll close that with our chain 1. Since that 2 chain start there counts as a double crochet, we will be having 5 loops instead of 4 for the next one. We'll go over and go through 2 over and go through 2, and over and go through 2, and over and go through 2. So we want to have our cluster of 4 double crochets there, and then pull through. And I'll just do those a couple more times just so you get used to them. They're pretty simple, but you just have to remember to only go through the first 2 loops on your hook. So we want to go over, through, pull up a loop, go through the first 2. Oh, there goes my yarn in the way. And go over and through the next 2. And then we'll do that 2 more times. 1 and 2. And then you will have 5 loops on your hook, and then you'll just pull through all 5 of those. And we'll use a chain 1 and a chain 1 for in between our clusters. Okay, so we'll just be continuing with our clusters all the way around. So now that I'm doing these cluster stitches, you can see how the red really looks like little petals on a flower. Or I guess this is called the Sunburst granny square, so it's supposed to be a sunburst. I mean, I guess it kind of looks like a sun in the middle because it's orange. So I guess it could be whatever you really want it to be. I've seen it also called a starburst. So there's that too. But yeah, these are really good for tote bags or blankets or anything you can really use a granny square on. You can make a whole bunch of these and just attach them together, which I have not actually done yet. I actually have a whole bunch of granny squares from a pattern by Hooked on Sunshine called Hooked on Grannies. And I have this whole pile of granny squares that I haven't put together yet to actually make the blanket. And I keep saying one day I will, but it's been a couple years now, so I have all these pretty granny squares and I have not put them together yet. But maybe I will make a video about joining granny squares, and that might motivate me to do that. If you guys want to see a video on how to join granny squares, then let me know and I will do that, because those granny squares are too pretty to just be sitting in a pile. All right, so we have finished our clusters. And now it's time to make this a granny square shape. So we'll cut our yarn. And we'll add our last row. And I will use this blue again. And I love this yarn, and I think it's called Royalty. Yes, it is called Royalty. So we'll do our slip knot, and we will start one of the corners just by going into any space here, and we will chain 4 and do 2 triple crochets in this spot. So 1 and 2. So we have our two more triple crochets there. So you want to have a total of 3. And next we will do 3 double crochets in the next spot. 1, 2, and 3. Followed by 3 half double crochets. Now the reason that we're doing this is to just get a straight edge across the top. 1, 2, and 3. Then we'll do our 3 doubles again. And we will start our corner here. And for our triples, remember, we go around the hook twice and go into the spot. 1, 2, 3. And we'll do 3 triples here. And then we will chain 3, since this is our corner, and do 3 more triples to make our corner. All right, so now you can see here that we have the top part of our Sunburst granny square complete. And we're just going to do that all the way around the edges here. All right, so for the second side, we're gonna do 3 double crochets in this next spot. 1, 2, 3. And then we will do 3 half doubles. 1, 2. Oh, got stuck there on the sparkle. 2 and 3. And then another 3 doubles here. 1, 2, and 3. And now we come to our corner, which is our triple. So we are going to go around the hook twice, and then we'll do 3 triples, followed by a chain 3, and then 3 more triples. All right, now our chain 3 and 3 more of our triple crochets. So we've got about 2 sides done now. And yeah, in another video I can show you guys how to put these all together. I know I mentioned earlier about how I have a whole pile of granny squares that I have yet to put together after at least a couple years of them sitting around. So I definitely need to do that. Alright, now we'll do our double. So this is pretty simple once you get the hang of it. You're basically just doing the double crochets followed by the half double and then doubles again before the corner. So half double here, then double, and our triple, and we'll just finish up that corner. And I like the sparkle in this yarn. I do like anything sparkly and colorful, so I think that's why I decided to pick these yarns. So hopefully it shows up well on camera and it's not too distracting. I just thought of that. Alright, and our doubles and half double And so we will just do our triples followed by double, half double, and a double until we get all the way around. And I'll meet you back here. Alright, so now we've got our crocheted Sunburst granny squares, and maybe I will make a few more at some point and show you all how to put them together. So that is all that I have for you guys today, and I hope that you'll join me for the next one. So if you like what you see, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you later.